All right, chumps, what's up? We're back with another one. UFC Fight Night. Sandhagen versus Figueiredo just went down. It was an interesting card. It was actually a pretty good card. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't like a wow card, if you guys know what I mean. For the guys that watched, for the ladies that watched, you kind of understand. But we're going to run through the fights. We're going to go in reverse order. Maybe, if you guys want, we can go top to bottom next time. But we're going to start at the first fight of the night, Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. I'm going to run through some of these pretty quick just because they weren't all that entertaining. And also, I barely watched some of them because this was the first women's flyweight bout of the night. Yeah. It was pretty boring, unanimous decision. Good win for Juliana Miller. Anyways, nothing to see there. Tom Peterson versus Dontel Mays. Again, we're going to kind of run through this one. I don't know how we have this milk bag looking motherfucker in the UFC winning fights, dude. We got white milk versus chocolate milk. And, dude, I don't know, because if you guys are American and you don't drink milk out of a bag like us Canadians, then maybe you don't understand that one. But they literally look like milk bags, both of them. Dontel Mays, like, people saying he's athletic for a heavyweight. I mean, bro, come on. I don't know. I haven't seen this guy win a fight ever. And I still don't think he's that athletic for a heavyweight. I think he's just I think almost all these guys are just out of shape, light heavyweights, if they're lucky. Thomas Peterson literally just kind of blobbed Dontel Mays and won a pretty boring unanimous decision. It was again pretty boring, but we're gonna run through it. Ilia Topuria at home versus Kwang Lee. I think I've missed this fight because I was like actually sleeping after watching the first two fights of the night. I think I passed out on the couch. I don't know. I actually totally missed this one, but he got a submission over Topuria at home, so good on Kwang Lee. He's actually putting together some good wins here, and it was a slight underdog, but still. This fight of the night, Juliana Robertson versus Marina Rodriguez. I don't know how you want to say it, but I think Julian Robertson is completely underrated. I saw like Guru and his fight predictions and stuff like that talking about it, saying like Julian Robertson doesn't really she's good, but she's not good. Like, she's not good enough to beat like a lot of these girls. I really think Julian Robertson is underrated. I think her grappling is one of the best in that women's strawweight division, if not the best. Maybe not quite the best, but like it's definitely way up there. Like, her grappling is super good. But what makes her grappling really good is that she's not just technical, she's very dominant. She's dominant and she's always looking to cause damage or find a finish in the grappling, which is what makes her so good. Like, she's going to hold, once she gets these girls down, not only does she control position and hold them there, but she's causing damage everywhere. There's people that only try to they'll hold them down and look for a submission, but it's pretty hard just to get a submission on somebody, especially at this level. But when you start hitting them with shots, then, more likely you're going to get a good chance to get a submission. But when you're hitting them with your shots and trying to cause injury and cause damage in every aspect of when you're grappling, then that's when you get finishes. That's when submissions open up. A lot of people try to cause damage, but they only do the typical stuff like, maybe they're in side control, they're just little side head shots. But there's a difference between that and then a difference between that and people like, let's say, John Silva, or even I'm just going to say myself, but when I'm grappling, I'm always looking for MMA grappling. I'm always looking for ways where I can hit somebody and cause damage. And whether that's a 12-6 elbow to the ribs, or an elbow to the ribs, when you're in these side control positions, you don't just have to hit the head. You don't just have to, 1-2 to the body up to the head as the typical thing to do is just one to the body, one to the head, try to ground a pound that way. You need to be sneaky. You need to cause damage in all these different little areas. Even just being gritty by just grinding your forehead into their face and stuff like that when you're grappling. Those things, they make a person want to quit and they make a person make mistakes. So Julian Robertson is really, really good at that. Whether she's landing ground and pound, maybe she doesn't have the biggest power, but she's finding sneaky elbows. She's not just attacking the head. If she's in a position where the only thing that's open to her is to elbow to the thigh, or elbow to the top of the knee, or elbow even to the calf or something like that, best believe she's going to do it. So I think Julian Robertson is really quite good, and I think she's ready for some people in the top 5 of the weight class. Send her up there, see how she does. I think potentially this Julian Robertson can be somebody who is hanging around that top 5, maybe top 3 in this division. People are saying her stand up really sucks. Maybe it's because I'm Canadian, or I just think her fighting style is pretty decent. I think she's a really good finisher, and she makes it exciting for women's fights. So, but I think she has a lot of potential. I think her striking could still use a little bit of work, but I do think she's doing quite good. And Marina Rodriguez was, I guess, retiring coming into this fight. People were saying like, oh, you're gonna fight your heart out if you know it's your last fight. I don't know about that. You're just kind of there to like feel it again, I guess, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Ryan Bloater versus Azamat Bakoyev. I actually almost missed some of this fight. I missed the first like minute, but more or less Azamat Bakoyev just dude, he's about like built like a barrel, man. This guy's yoked. He basically just outstruck Ryan Loader and just beat the shit out of him. Ryan Loader, who is supposedly the way better grappler, barely shot any takedowns and, didn't really shoot any takedowns, didn't really get any takedowns. But he basically just tried to strike with Azamat, who's, a guy who's been KOing people, which was an awful decision, and he got knocked out. So, that'll happen when you try to do that. Miesha Tate versus Yana Santos. I thought this was a great fight. I actually enjoyed this fight. I thought Yana Santos was actually looking pretty good. I haven't watched a lot of Yana Santos' fights in the past, so I was impressed. Her technique is pretty good in the striking and the stand-up. Her takedown defense was okay. I think a lot of the reason that Miesha Tate couldn't get takedowns on Yana Santos is just because Yana Santos kind of just bullied her. She's a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and a little bit more manly, I guess. She was just a little bit stronger than Miesha Tate, and Miesha Tate wasn't able to kind of bully these takedowns on her. They weren't like the most technical takedowns. They weren't the most perfect takedowns. And I think for Miesha Tate to get takedowns, kind of ugly takedowns against somebody that's way bigger and stronger with half decent takedown defense is going to be hard. But Miesha Tate did everything I think she could have right. She got takedown in the third and then won the third round, but she did everything that she could have in this fight. She came forward, she made it ugly, she tried to get takedowns, she wasn't afraid to stand in striking range with Yana Santos in order to get those takedowns, in order to land her own shots. If she just stayed on the outside and went for like a takedown when the timing was perfect, she would have lost on points by far. And it was good to see her not just like lose a decision or be content to lose a decision. She was gunning to win this fight throughout the whole fight. So it was a good fight for Miesha Tate. Yana Santos had a good win. Yeah, I actually didn't mind that fight. You can say what you want about me, but I didn't mind that fight. Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. I think Mason Jones is good. I don't think he's at the level where if he's having a fight like that against Jeremy Stephens, he's probably not at the level where he's going to do super well in lightweight, at least right now. But he is definitely a good lightweight fighter. I think he's definitely, going to be up there, top 15 one day for sure. Maybe more, who knows. Jeremy Stephens looked really good for coming back in a UFC fight in a long time. Like, his takedown defense was honestly not bad for, how much non-takedown defense he's probably been training. His striking looked okay. It was still good. He just lands. It wasn't amazing, but it's like when he lands, he's causing damage, which is crazy because looking at these two people, you'd think Mason Jones is probably the stronger puncher here, but there's just some people that have, again, like what everybody says, natural power. Jeremy Stephens was sit down on some shots and cause some good damage to Mason Jones. One thing I really liked about this fight with Jeremy Stephens and Jeremy Stephens as a fighter is he's not somebody who's just there to lose a decision. He's going to try to win the fight or get finished trying to win the fight. Like, he's not going to let a fight just slip away from him. And I hate watching people let fights just slip away from them. Like, we saw that a lot in boxing on the weekend. It was like, I'm just going to lose my shit because people are just like floating around, throwing one or two punches, even though they know they're losing a fight, and just letting a fight slip away from them. He's not letting a fight slip away from him. He's not afraid to step into the fray, if you want to call it that, and, roll the dice in order to possibly get a win. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're never going to get a win. So he was at least willing to take chances. He rocked Mason Jones with some good shots. He also got hit with some amazing shots for Mason Jones that probably should have knocked him out, but somehow didn't. Dude's got a granite chin. Mason Jones, great first two rounds, and third round just took Jeremy Stephens down and controlled him. It was pretty obvious that Jeremy Stephens was a little bit weaker in the grappling, and Mason Jones could hold him there if he got him down. Next fight, Cameron Smotherman versus Surrey City. Dude, Surrey City, I like it, dude. I think he's kind of looking like maybe like we could shave this part, but other than that, dude is good. Surrey City's a great fighter, man. Honestly, I think he's one of the better prospects we have out of Canada right now. He's really well rounded. He has good cardio. I hear some people saying his cardio isn't good, but his cardio is good, man. His cardio is good. The reason that maybe he slows down in the third in some fights is because his output is so high. His output is very, very high as a fighter. And he's very technical in the stand-up, very technical in the grappling. He's well-rounded. He's gritty. He's looking to cause damage everywhere, which I think is huge. And he just switches it up well. He keeps it at range, keeps people guessing. He's kind of like a Corey Sandhagen vibe, but he's not at that skill level yet. But he's kind of got a similar style. Like, even in the striking, like, he's switching stances, hitting low kicks, hitting high kicks, mixing it up with teeps, mixing it up with everything, elbows. And his grappling is, also very good. He's kind of built like Corey Sandhagen too, to be honest, especially in bantamweight. But he's just not at that same skill level yet. But I think he has a very good future in this division. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's got a lot of progress to make. And I think it's somebody who's going to keep progressing as the years come. So I'm excited to see him win. Good win from him. I thought it was a good win from him. I don't know what else to say. Montel Jackson versus Marcos. This was an okay fight. It wasn't anything like too crazy. Montel Jackson kind of won. I would say kind of a boring fight, honestly, but not too much to say about that. Montel Jackson hit with some good shots. Daniel Marcos is Daniel Marcos. This fight, dude, I don't know. I actually don't know why D-Rod's Santiago Ponzinibbio are like third fight of the main card, but I guess it just is what it is when we have a fight card in Iowa. It was Iowa, I believe, but Des Moines, Iowa. Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm baked. Anyways, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. I don't really rate either of them as like really good, high level, like technique wise fighters, but they're both gritty, like just go to war fighters. And those fighters often win against the more technical fighters, just because they're just not like they're just junkyard dogs, dude. They're just bullies. They'll come and they'll take what you have to throw at them, and even if you're the way more technical fighter, you could be piecing them up for like 2 rounds, but eventually they're just gonna hit you with something clean for the most part and do some damage. D-Rod, in my opinion, did not look good in this fight. I mean, didn't look like he was in great shape compared to what I've seen in other fights. And I thought his striking looked. I mean, I didn't think Santiago Ponzinibbio looked good, but I did not think Daniel Rodriguez looked good either. I thought Daniel Rodriguez looked quite sloppy. A lot of his strikes, he was literally just throwing like this as hard as he could. It was actually just the worst technique I've ever seen. Like, you literally just throw like a straight arm, like as wide looping hook as he could. Even when he throw a jab or a cross, he'd be like, I don't know. I'm giving just like bombs at the screen right now. But yeah, I did not think it was like the cleanest technique ever. He did catch Santiago Ponzinibbio with a nice shot and just followed up with some wild like shots. I mean, honestly, I would say he's kind of lucky he knocked Santiago Ponzinibbio out, because it didn't look like he was aiming there. He was just throwing one arm after the other at his head and hoping they hit. And they did, and he knocked him out. So it was good. It was a good knock. It was a good finish. I don't think D-Rod looked like particularly clean in his, technique or striking tonight, but it was a good win for him. Reinier De Ridder. DDP at home, dude. He might be one of my new favorite fighters in the UFC. He's got that just greasy grin. He's looking at you. He's like, yeah, I'll fight fucking Strickland next, dude. He doesn't care. This guy, he's a good fighter. I think people are really ripping on him because he's got this goofy style. I don't even think it's that goofy. Like, come at me, say it, tell me I'm wrong, but like, everybody's like, oh my god, like Dricus Du Plessis' technique sucks. Like, dude, Reinier De Ridder and Dricus' technique is 10 times better than freaking Daniel Rodriguez or Santiago Ponzinibbio's, dude. Their technique sucks. Like, both of their techniques suck. And honestly, I don't think Reinier De Ridder's technique is that bad. Sometimes he does have a little bit of awkward moments in the stand-up, and he does, like, kind of fumble around a little bit here and there and throw some weird shots. But it's not that bad. I really don't think his striking is that bad. Again, it's a little awkward like DDP, but DDP striking isn't that bad either. Like, we saw in a lot of his other fights. that like maybe it's a little bit goofy, but it's not like it's not clean. What was the last fight we watched with DDP? I'm trying to think of it, but he was striking, looked quite good. Anyways, I digress. Reinier De Ridder, I think, was better than Bo Nickel in everywhere of this fight by far. Like his striking was better than Bo Nickel's. His grappling was better than Bo Nickel's. Again, this whole like wrestling base is like the biggest thing. That's the most important thing for you. I don't think so. I don't think like having MMA wrestling is really, really important. It's super important. But just coming from a Seoul wrestling, especially US wrestling background, doesn't seem to be doing as much as they used to. A lot of these guys have good defense. But the problem is with Bo Nickel, and like if he does take down Reinier De Ridder is better on the ground anyway. So like why the fuck would you want to take him down? It's like the Paul Craig thing. It's like he should, Bo Nickel's grappling mixed with his wrestling should be good enough that he can out grapple Reinier De Ridder. But we saw like when Bo got him down, he landed a couple shots, but Reinier De Ridder is looking for subs, and he was comfortable on his back. And honestly, if the fight just was Bo on top, starting on top, I think Reinier De Ridder would eventually scramble up or hit a sweep or something or find a submission. So yeah, his all around grappling isn't good enough. His striking isn't quite good enough either. He got hit. People are saying he quit. That body shot he got hit with was nasty. Like that's gonna drop you no matter what. Like maybe you could fight out of it like by trying to run away or like covering up and like buying yourself some time. But that was, I think like leading into that, it might have looked like he was a little bit like, oh shit, like I'm getting beat up and I don't have anything for him, which is fair. It was a little bit like that, and maybe in his mind he's like, okay, like I don't know if I can do this. But then as Reinier De Ridder was trying to come forward and Bo was kind of already hurt, he threw, I think it was a lead hook, or he stands southpaw. I think he stands southpaw, so it was a hook. Anyways, he threw the left hand right as Reinier De Ridder was coming in, and actually like kind of touched Reinier, but Reinier De Ridder timed it perfectly with just like a huge knee, like right to like the solar plexus or like under the top rib here. That shit hurts. Like that shit's gonna drop you no matter what. So great knees from Reinier De Ridder, but like we know Reinier De Ridder's there to throw knees at Bo Nickel. Like don't stand that range with them, and even if you're hurt, like you got to make space. You can't stand there with Reinier De Ridder. He's gonna throw a knee and he's gonna catch you. And dude, striking's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm just saying it's not that bad. Performance of the night from him, so that's good. Final fight of the night: Deiveson Figueiredo versus Corey Sandhagen. Maybe I should say it the other way around because Corey Sandhagen's GOAT. I think Corey Sandhagen's really good. I do think he's super good. I think he's super technical. I think he's going to be one of the hardest fighters in this division to beat for everybody, just because he's so fucking well-rounded. He's so good. He's so good, well-rounded. Like Umnar, as some people would say, Umar is pretty well-rounded. He's very good. I don't think he's as well-rounded as Corey Sandhagen, to be honest. I don't. I think he's almost as well-rounded. Merab isn't as well-rounded as Corey Sandhagen. O'Malley isn't as well-rounded as Corey Sandhagen. Jan is very well-rounded, but do I think he's got a little bit better grip? I don't think Jan's going to be getting out of those grappling exchanges with Umar. I think Corey Sandhagen's so well-rounded from everything he's had to go through all the years of his career. He's going to be a really, really hard guy to beat for a lot of these guys in the division, and he looked great tonight. I never really rated Deiveson Figueiredo, but Deiveson Figueiredo is really good. I don't think I never thought his grappling was like at like the next level where he's like, I never thought he was like the top bantamweight grappler, and I never thought he was the top flyweight grappler, and I never thought he was the top flyweight striker. In flyweight, I thought Deiveson Figueiredo, his striking is pretty good, but he doesn't have the highest output, and he relies a lot on landing a big shot, which has worked out for him at flyweight, obviously. But I don't know. He has this like kind of karate stance, and he's kind of just like, he has a big shot, and that's what he's looking for in the stand up. And in the grappling, he is good. He has good scrambles. He has good finishes. I just don't think he's at a level grappling wise where he could have, I don't know what he was trying to do, because I didn't think he was at a grappling level to grapple with Corey Sandhagen. People were saying like Figueiredo's way of winning this fight is grappling. Yeah, but he's not better at grappling than Corey Sandhagen. I'm sorry, he's just not. And he's a smaller guy. So why was Deiveson Figueiredo, in my opinion, his way of winning this fight was landing a big shot and rocking Corey Sandhagen, that was it. Because he wasn't going to out-grapple Corey Sandhagen. I'm sorry. Corey Sandhagen just came off of like a really big camp grappling with Umar and a whole like 25 rounds against Umar, or 25 minutes against Umar. Umar is way better of a grappler than Davison. Davison is not going to out-grapple Corey Sandhagen, especially not by lying on the ground going for leg locks. So I don't know what was going on there. But also, to be honest, in the striking, Davison Figueiredo was probably going to get pieced up by Corey Sandhagen in the striking and just have to pray to land a big shot. But it is what it is. It was a bad matchup for Davison. Corey Sandhagen's super good. He's a problem for a lot of these guys, and he looked great in this fight. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the main card here in UFC Fight Night Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know. Maybe I'm retarded. Maybe that's not the right place. But anyways, I had a lot of fun watching this card. I had a lot of fun doing this breakdown for you guys. And there'll be a lot more coming as soon as we have more UFC fights. UFC Canada is coming up this weekend. Really wanted to be there to watch that fight, but I'm in Whistler for ski training camp and fitness testing this month. So then we'll be back in Montreal, and we'll be training MMA. We'll be watching MMA. We'll be getting, fired up for some more fights coming down the line. I'll put out a prediction for the UFC Fight Night or UFC Canada card, UFC Montreal card coming up soon. So I hope you guys enjoy, and a lot more MMA content coming to the MMA YouTube channel. And if you guys want to check out the skiing channel, everybody's already on the ski channel. So cheers. Hope you guys enjoyed. Deuces.